Hello, and welcome to Travel Babble with Vasha. I recently sailed on Cunard's Queen Elizabeth in an obstructed balcony stateroom. 36 days in this room, and it was magnificent. I enjoyed the room so much that there were days I barely left. I might go out to the shows, but that was it. I would get room service and sit on my balcony. Now, when you hear obstructed balcony, the first thing you think is, what am I going to be looking at? Am I going to be looking at poles? Am I going to be looking at a lifeboat and I really can't see anything? Not in this room. The reason this balcony was considered obstructed was because the bottom of the railing was solid metal. On a lot of balconies, that's glass. You can see through it, especially if you're sitting down. It was solid metal. To be honest, I liked it even better than having a glass for the majority of the time. Why? It also had a shelf on it. I could set things on that shelf. I could prop my feet up on that shelf. I saw my neighbors setting their drinks on that shelf, setting their binoculars because we were doing a transatlantic and there was a lot of sea life to see. It was a wonderful balcony. Since we're on the balcony, let's start there. The balcony was a decent size. I was traveling solo. There were 2 chairs and 1 little table. I spent a lot of days out there, especially in the afternoon, having my afternoon tea. The table was a nice size to set a plate and a drink on it. I could also set the drink on the little shelf on the metal wall if I needed to. I could sit there in the chair, I could read, I could have my afternoon tea. Nice size balcony. I stood at that railing quite a bit. Like I said, I was out there. My room steward got to the point where if he came in the room, he would see me. He would take care of whatever he needed. Sometimes then he'd knock on the door so that I would know he was in there if he needed to tell me something. Sometimes I'd come back in my room and notice that he'd been there. Now, I did this purposely because usually if I'm in the room, I will lock the door so that they can't get in. But you can't hear somebody knocking. And if I knew it was about time for him to come in to do something, I would leave that open for him so that he could get into the room and take care of it. Otherwise, I might not get my ice bucket. Or in the evenings, I might not get my turn down service and my information for the next day. In the room, as you come in the room from the door, as I said, I was way down at the end. I was the second room from the very front of the ship where passenger cabins were. Now, there were some crew areas that were further up, and we would see occasionally right past the balcony that was beside me, you would see some crew sticking their head out, especially going through the Panama Canal. We would see them sticking their head out looking down, but for the most part, you didn't hear anything, you didn't see anything from up there. The crew outside smoking area was way forward on that deck. I only smelled smoke from there one time, and it was not a problem. But as you come into the cabin, on the right was the bathroom. Typical bathroom, not too large, but this one was not too small either. It was very nice. The shower was somewhat small. It had a curtain. It included the shampoo, the hair conditioner, and the shower gel. Now, the hair conditioner was not in my room when I got there, but I asked the room steward, and he brought it to me. He was very good also about making sure anything in the room, that if it got empty, he would fill it back up. So when my hair conditioner got low, he filled it back up. There was the toilet. What can you say? It was a toilet. The sink was a nice size. There were shelves on both sides. There were cotton balls. There were cups, glasses to use in the bathroom. I was able to put my stuff in there and use it. I had plenty of space. Again, I don't have a lot of bathroom stuff, and I was traveling solo. That was not a problem. I had plenty of room in the bathroom. There were hooks on the doors where I usually hung up one of my robes. And there were 2 robes in the room, which was very nice. And what was nice for me is the robe that I used wasn't just one of those little skimpy robes. It was heavy duty, it was warm, and it was big. It fit with no problems. A lot of times I feel like those robes were made for very tiny people and they don't fit right, but this robe, I wanted to bring it home. I was actually going to look and see if I could buy one, but I didn't have room in my suitcase, so I gave up on that. On the other side across from the bathroom were the closets. And I debated whether there was enough storage for clothes in this room, and being a solo, there definitely was. Now, I did have a lot of luggage. As if you've seen my videos, you know I don't travel light. I'm working on that. I'm trying to get better. But I was gone for almost 3 months. This was part of that 3 months. I had been in Alaska in cold weather. I was going through the Panama Canal and over to Europe. I had warm weather. I was on ships where you don't need to dress up. I was on a ship where you needed to dress up a little bit. And then, of course, on Cunard, Queen Elizabeth, we had several formal nights. So I had a wide variety of clothing that I needed to pack. There were 2 nice closets. I was able to hang my dressier dresses and things like that in one closet. In my other closet, I was able to hang my not quite as dressy shirts and other items and put my shoes on the floor in there. There were also some shelves and a safe, so I could keep my stuff in the safe, things that could go on the shelves. As far as drawers, the drawers that I used were in the nightstands beside the bed, and then there was one little drawer over on top of where the refrigerator was. There was plenty of drawer space for just me, but it was a little bit inconvenient, it seemed, where they were placed, and sometimes I would forget what I had put where, and I'd be walking around the room trying to find something. So as I said, plenty of storage space for just me, even though I had a lot of stuff, but it wasn't always in the place where I would have thought it would be. So that was okay. Come in, the bed. The bed was very comfortable. Nice big fluffy pillows, nice big comforter. I also, of course, put my blanket and my own pillow on the bed. When you first come in the first day, it's covered with a special cover that you can put your luggage on so it won't hurt the bed as you unpack. They also put that back on the night before that you're going to disembark so that you again can put it up to pack your luggage. As far as your luggage goes, plenty of room under the bed. You may need to move around a few things if the steward is keeping anything or storing anything under there, but I had plenty of room for all of my luggage underneath the bed. The bed was comfortable. I enjoyed it and got some very good night's sleep there and some good afternoon naps because I did love my afternoon naps. There is also in the room the TV. The TV gets your typical cruise type channels. You get your bridge cam, which I would use from time to time. You get some movies, you get some kids stuff, you get some news, you maybe get some sports. The nice thing I liked on here is they also had music channels. I had just been sailing with a friend of mine who had commented, she wished we just had some music that we could just play, and it would be nice if it was on the TV. And they must have heard her, because when I got on the Queen Elizabeth, there were music channels. I don't remember all the different varieties, but there was a different selection depending on what you like. So that was very nice. There was also a desk, and on the desk there were some outlets, and I could keep things plugged in. Now, I generally carry an extension cord, not a surge protector. Surge protectors are generally not allowed on ships, but you can usually take an extension cord, and my extension cord has for US plugs as well as USBs. So I always plug that in, and then that gives me more places to plug everything in. The desk wasn't huge, but it was plenty big. There was the phone that was there. I used the phone quite a bit to call room service. There was also a room service menu and just a guide. So the first day on board, I looked through this guide just to familiarize myself with some of the workings of the ship. So I would suggest doing that. There is also a small mini fridge in your room, and it came with the first day I got on board, 2 champagne glasses and a small bottle of sparkling wine. And that was nice that you could have a little toast maybe as you're sailing away, or you could save it for another day. It's up to you. I saved mine for later. On top there's also a tea and coffee tray. I used some of the tea and some of the sugar. As I said, I got room service quite a bit, and sometimes they wouldn't put the sugar that I wanted for my oatmeal, and I had it in my room. Over beside the bed, there was a couch. It's not a big couch, it's a small couch with a coffee table in front of it. That coffee table is usually where I had my room service plates and trays put there. And then I would sit on the couch. I could sit there and eat if I wasn't eating out on my balcony, or at night I order room service for dinner a lot of times around midnight, and I might sit on the bed and eat that while I'm reading or watching TV. The thing about the couch that was very interesting is almost at the end of the cruise, they were doing a lot of, I guess, pick-me-ups to the whole ship. Because it was a transatlantic, there was less people on there. And they changed out the couch. They gave us a note, told us that they would be coming the next day between certain hours. They would be taking the couch away, they would be reupholstering it and bringing it back. And they did. I was out of the room when they came in to get it. When I came back later, it was there. The only thing about that was it did have a little bit of a smell for about a day or so. So if you're very sensitive to something like that, that may be a problem. They also changed out some of the curtains for the going out onto the balcony. And they also changed out the mirror in the bathroom. And again, they gave you notes that they were going to do them, what the hours were, how long it would take. I think the curtains, they said like 15 minutes. So you knew if they were coming in, maybe you had something else planned, or how long you needed to be away. Overall, I really enjoyed this room. I would book it again. I would love to get the one over so that I could be the very front. But I loved this room, and I would highly recommend an obstructed balcony, which to me was actually a bonus, but I got it for cheaper. And if you think you would like this room, I encourage you right now, go pack your bags and head out for an obstructed balcony room on Cunard's Queen Elizabeth. But before you do that, subscribe to my channel so that you can get other videos like this.